Hi, how are you today? My name is Shannon and I'm coming to you from my home in New Jersey, right across the river from New York City, where I live, and I also work in New Jersey, and I do all my crafting here, most of it anyway, unless I'm traveling. Yeah, so let's get into it. I don't have a lot of knitting to share. I mean, I did finish the MKAL, Stephen West MKAL, which I'll talk about in a sec. I should probably tell you what I'm wearing. I'm wearing Scottish Check by Marianne Isager. She was a designer for Isager Yarn. I don't think she's still working. She may have passed away. I'm not really sure. But she was designer in late 60s through the 70s into the 80s even, designing for them. And yeah, I bought a book. I've knit this in the spring, so if you're interested, you can go look at my project page. And on my project page, I've been trying to remember to list the episodes where I talk about the project, so people can go back and watch them for that specific project if they want. It's evening, so I'm having a little rosé. Wolfer Estate rosé. Nothing fancy. Just Wolfer Estate is a local to me, Long Island, New York winery. I love their rosé. It's my favorite. They're out in the Hamptons, where when I go out to the Hamptons to see my friends, I drive right by it on my way out there. Fun fact though, the wine is more expensive at the winery than it is in the wine shops. Who knows? Who knows why? They've explained it. We've asked that question. They've explained it, but I don't remember the answer, so I cannot enlighten you on that. Yeah, so I haven't done a lot of knitting on my projects that you may be looking for a continuation of, but I will show you and I will talk to you about them a little bit. But I figured since I have a finished object, I'll talk about that first. And I will also talk to you about what's been happening. I've had a pretty rough month that has really just eaten away at pretty much stole my desire to do a lot of knitting. But this project I did work on pretty consistently, and I finished not long after, probably within a week after Clue 4 was released. It is done. It is the Stephen West latest MKAL called Go Dynamo. Pretty nice. It was such a fun knit. I think this might be my favorite. You can see how big it is. I didn't do the second part of Clue 4, which would have made it even bigger. There's like a wavy border that I skipped. I used a bunch of mini skeins and partial skeins for color 2, and I used a cashmere lace for color 1, which I don't have. Let me see, where did I put it? Here it is. I'm gonna be real with you. I am very disappointed in what happened when I put it in for blocking, because what is reading as like 2 shades of turquoise right here, this paler turquoise is supposed to be yellow, and the dark blue wool, this one, I think it was really this one, because I have a little bit of this lighter one left, and I tested it this morning and it did not bleed, but this blue just bled all over when I put it in for a soak. Really disappointing. And funny enough, like that blue was part of a mini skein. It was part of a mini skein set that was meant to be one project that I got last year, and it would have bled all over that. Like, I really don't understand dyers that, like, just rinse your freaking yarn, man. Like, just rinse out all the dye. Why'd you package it up without it being rinsed well? I really don't understand. Like, I'm frustrated, clearly. I did a little clip. I'll show you the little clip right now of how the colors changed. I do have the yarns right here, so you can kind of see, like, this is the yellow. This is the color I got. This, thanks to the blue. I know it wasn't the black. I do think the black released some dye in the bath, but it didn't bleed because I had swatched it and it didn't bleed in the swatch. So it never bled. But yeah, this color here is supposed to be bright. Anyway, you should be watching a clip where I'm really showing you side by side how it changed and how I really got this like very murky, muddied version of what I made, which is just a big bummer. Yeah. It's the second time this happened to me with an MKAL from Steven too. And it's not the pattern at all. It's just a damn yarn. Like, I made shawlography and I used one of the main color. As the main color, I used a very brilliant teal blue, and I used yellow in that too, and it bled all over the yellow and just made it lime green. So I ended up with this really beautiful blue and yellow shawl turning blue and lime green, and I was so upset I just gave it away, and I'm considering that with this because it's not what I made. It's not what I made. Anyway, bummer. Really, really bummed about that. Yeah, so that's my finished object. It was so enjoyable to knit though. Like, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed putting it together. You can see in Cast On With Me, my last episode of Cast On With Me, which I think is episode 8, I talked about the process. I took a deep dive into the process of figuring out the colors and what I was going to put together with it. The blue didn't just ruin the yellow. It really ruined the yellow, but it also dulled down the pink, and it dulled down the turquoise, and it dulled down the greens. The only one I really didn't impact was this one. I mean, it did a little bit, but it looks pretty close. Okay, I'm going to stop looking at it and thinking about it because it just is making me angry. Or it's making me very sad. And I've had like the saddest few weeks. This past few weeks have been really awful. One of my cats became injured, and I posted on Instagram about it. So if you follow me on Instagram, you're not up to date. I had to, basically, he's been to 4 vets. I didn't take him to the first vet. I just called. It's his regular vet. It turns out his regular vet's just a wellness vet. So I had to go to an ER vet. He told me to. He sent me to this hospital, Blue Pearl. I went to Blue Pearl, and they're awful. Don't ever take your cat there. Maybe they're good for dogs. But from what I saw in the reviews, after I went and had a horrible experience, they are just awful. I can tell you they will catastrophize whatever your animal has. They'll just make it a catastrophe and make it seem like you have to pay all this money to get him well, get the animal well. And it's so not true. It's just not the way anyone would work. No medical professional works that way. They will instead go methodically through, like, go with the thing that they think it is the highest possibility and work their way through and slowly eliminate things to figure out what's wrong. That's what a real medical professional does. Instead, they were like throwing all these dollars, like bill estimates at me that were over the top, padded, terrible. So I ended up at a 4th vet, and my cats now have a new vet because I found a family doctor who's a full service family doctor. And so Egg is getting better, my little orange guy. But there were about 10 days when he first got sick where he was not eating, he was not drinking, and he was not using the litter box. He was just in pain, and not himself. And I was hand feeding him, and I was taking him to the litter box. Once I got him to the box, he could use it, but he wasn't taking himself there to even use it. I really thought he was going to die. Like, I thought he was going to die because cats can't go more than 2 days without food or water. And I couldn't get him to drink water. I considered putting some down his throat with a syringe. But I was getting him to eat a lot of churro. I just gave him whatever food he wanted to eat. He wasn't eating a lot of anything, but it was something. And anyway, after he saw the 4th vet, he started to improve. She has him on the road to recovery, and I think it's going to be slow. It turned out I had a diagnosis of inflamed bladder at first, and then a diagnosis of a herniated disc or something's wrong with his spine. Diagnosis the second time at Blue Pearl, because I went back to Blue Pearl like a big idiot. But I figured I had already paid for some services there, and it was a misdiagnosis for sure. So they were gonna, at least I would save something, not having to pay for the other additional labs or anything. Little did I know that like the new vet I went to immediately got all the reports, and she contacted that vet and got the reports from them and got all the information from them. So I should have just gone to her. Because after the second misdiagnosis where they were telling me that he had something wrong with his spine, and I was just like, there's no way, because a spinal injury only happens in a cat if they're hit by a car, and my cats don't go outside. So, and this happened during regular play, so it shouldn't have been that serious. So I went, and it turns out he doesn't have any breaks. She did x-rays and viewed him right there and could see that there were no breaks. We sent it for a second opinion just in case. And yeah, no breaks. It's a muscle tear, and yeah, he's a baby, and it hurts. And I say he's a baby, I just mean he's a little bit, he's not the stoic cats that I'm used to that just kind of suck it up and make do. He's not that. He's kind of whatever. Dramatic. He's a drama. He's drama. He's back to eating on his own and using the litter box and pretty much doing all the things that he does. He's not very playful though. He's doing a lot of sleeping, which he needs to do. She suggested that I crate him for the first week. That was hard. I couldn't really do it. But I did set up the crate so that he had a safe spot to be in and to eat in. I would feed him in it. And just, give him a spot where he could feel sheltered. And I put a heating pad in there so that he could be warm. He wasn't spending energy trying to keep himself warm. So it was pretty rough. And when that was going on, my job was gearing up for registration, for our registration period where students register for the next semester. And it's a real high stress time, and students become very anxious. It's a real high stress time for students. So that stress gets handed off to me, because they're constantly calling me and emailing me and asking me what to me sometimes seem really out there questions, because they're just not in touch with the reality of how we operate, but they don't know, so they just ask these things and they need help, and it's a lot. So I was going to work and not getting any of my normal work done, instead just putting out fires that students were bringing me, and coming home and not getting anything done because I'm caring for this sick cat. And yeah, I am feeling very burnt out. I want to quit my job and I might never get another cat. That's where I'm at right now. I mean, I'm joking about that, but wow. I'm not joking about my job though. I am seriously considering looking for other work, because this just isn't for me. I really don't do well in high stress, high anxiety environments. I feel burnt out. I just feel really burnt out. That's what's been going on. So now you're going to see that I really haven't knit much on anything other than that. I did knit on this. This was really a nice distraction. I did a knit along little trio with Beth McDonald Stone and Lorian of Knitting And here on YouTube, or Yarn Love Turtle over on Instagram. She's very popular, so I know you probably have heard of her. I talk about her frequently. so yeah, I had this as a distraction, and this was such a fun knit, and I really do want to make another one. And I looked in my stash, and I do have more of this really lovely cashmere lace yarn in a charcoal gray, which I talked about in the Cast On With Me. You could see it there. So maybe I can devise something. Or I also have some Surrey lace from, I have some Surrey lace from La Bien-Aimée, and I have some Surrey lace from Lamb and Kid, single skeins, that I might put together as color 1 or color 2, and then maybe put it with a main color. Maybe get some black fingering weight sock yarn and make that, because those are all bright colors, and that would look really pretty. It would give me this vibe, not washed out, assuming that my black yarn would not run. So I would just test that. I would definitely swatch and test that before I make a whole shawl and get the shock of my life. Not shock of my life, but you know, get shocked by the bleeding that happened here. I have to stop looking at it because it just upsets me. Okay, the Albers pullover, slipover that I was working on is in a timeout. I put it in hibernation. I'm going to circle back to that pattern in January after the holidays. I think I'm going to use January to do a little cleanup of my knitting, and that's going to be one of the projects that I'm going to pull out and work on cleaning up. I'll probably have some sort of holiday, New Year's maybe cast on. Like this was my New Year's cast on from this year. But other than that project, whatever that ends up being, I'm going to, and I have some good ideas. I'm going to clean up the Albers, like my whips, my outstanding whips, which will be Albers. And I don't think I have any others. Oh, I have a sock that I haven't finished. I have half of a sock. I have one sock done. I don't think I ever did the other sock. So I may finish that. And although I'm really not interested in it, I might just frog it. I probably will just frog it. So I'll finish the Albers. Then I have 2 sweaters that I knit a while ago, years ago, that are just too short. I just don't like the length of them. And I have the yarn set aside. I have more yarn, so I pulled that yarn out, set it aside. I just need to lengthen those sweaters. So I think I'm going to put those in the January queue as well, and just work on those. And I'd like to make something new for Vogue, but maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe the Stowaway that I'm about to show you next will be my Vogue sweater. I don't know. It just depends on how long these things stay on the needles. But yeah, so Albers I just set aside because it is not enjoyable. I do not enjoy knitting it. I really love the fabric, but I don't like making it. And I need things that are gonna bring me joy right now, because I've just had such a horrible month. So I put it away. I was just like, you need to go away. And my knitting is just not generally like, that project was not bringing me joy. And this project, I'm going to show you the Stowaway. I do have a little bit of an update, not much because I didn't do much on it. I set it aside and to work on this mystery cowl, but this is I made decent progress since you last saw it, because I think I was just a little bit past this stitch marker right here, which is marking where I split for the sleeves in the center front, so I can measure effectively like the length. So I think I knit from there all the way down to where you see it on the sweater. It is a solid sweater with colorwork sleeves, really pretty. I am excited to get to the sleeves. However, not rushing there because I have not worked out what color is going where in the colorwork sleeves. I need to do that. And also because I have had this disaster, I want to make sure I'm not going to have yarns that will bleed, because I am using a black yarn, which has the potential to bleed always, with a white yarn. And I have these colors, which I'm not worried about this rose gold, but this teal always bleeds. So I want to make sure I don't have bleeding happening with these skeins. And I may even just go ahead and pre-wash this teal, because why cake it and then have to uncake it. The black I'm going to take my chances with because this is all, by the way, this is all Swanky DK from Magpie Fibers. I talked about it in my Cast On With Me for the Stowaway pattern, which maybe you didn't watch, so I don't mind repeating. These are all Swanky DK. This is Baby Got Black, and this is Fior de Latte, and I don't know what these two are called. They're from their, I want to say this is Bougie Beaver. I don't know what the teal one is called, but they're from their main lines. They did a promotional sale for this pattern of mini skeins and stuff. So these are DK minis. So yeah, so I need to work out color placement of the color work, but more importantly, I need to swatch to make sure I'm not going to have any bleeding. And I was going to say I don't think I'm going to have bleeding with this because I suspect it's commercially dyed, or at least dyed the way they dye commercial yarn, because it's really a deep dark black, and usually indie dyers get kind of a purpley black. Like deep dark black is hard. And you know, maybe if someone is in the know about the dyeing process as a Magpie, they could correct me, but I don't know. It just looks like it's not going to be one of those blacks that bleed. Although this cashmere lace yarn was a hand dyed black, and it didn't bleed. It didn't bleed when I swatched it. So, and I refuse to believe that it contributed to this murkiness. I really, the dye, the water was a deep dark blue, and this blue here has lightened a lot from what it was when I was knitting with it. So yeah, you could barely see the contrast before, but now it's pretty visible. So yeah, this is exciting. I am pretty close. In fact, tonight I may finish up the body and get that ribbing done, or at least started. And yeah, keep going. I did, if you remember, I don't know, this is a Qing Fibre yellow. It is her Dashing DK base, which I don't think she has anymore, because she told me it was, or one of her employees told me it was going to be hard to find. But it is a South African fine merino. So I had made the Traveler and I frogged it, so that's why you're seeing like a color. There's not a color differentiation here. This is a texture differentiation. So this is one that had not been frogged. This was a brand new skein that I hadn't knit with, and then the rest of it is yarn that has been frogged. So that's why it's like kind of wrinkly, kind of crinkly, wrinkly looking. And this is the last big skein of yarn that I frogged. I have a couple little bits and bobs that seem to have a lot of pink in them because I had knit the Traveler with some speckled yarn that ended up bleeding, sadly, on some of the yarn on the yellow. Maybe yellow just attracts dyes from other colors. Maybe that's what's going on. I don't know. I'm going to make sure I swatch with the yellow, though, with those colors so that I can make sure that the yellow will be safe. Because I really, really don't think I can handle another disaster. There is a trick, and there is a trick to keep yarn that bleeds from damaging, dyeing your undyed, not undyed, but your other colors. It's this, I'll go grab it. It's a detergent that dyers use to do the same. So what it does is my understanding of it is that it traps dye. The molecules in this trap the dye molecules and keep it from getting into the other colors like this. And it's called Synthropol. I got it from Amazon. It was pretty inexpensive. I want to say it was like $12 or $15, less than 20. I bought it a while ago though, so who knows. But I have this. I just didn't think I was gonna have problems, so I didn't put this in. But if I'd put this in, I probably would have been saved. Like my project would have been saved. I got it in as soon as I saw the water turn a deep dark blue. I was like, oh crap. I ran and got it. I didn't have it in the bathroom where I was doing the soaking, unfortunately. It was over here by my knitting stuff. I ran and got it, but it was too late. I maybe stopped it from getting worse, and to be honest, like I even grabbed some hydrogen peroxide and put it in the water just to see if it would make the colors brighter, because hydrogen peroxide does that. It's a brightener, and maybe it brightened. Probably brightened the blue. Yay, I have a nice bright blue. Woohoo! All right. I do have a new cast on that I did not share with you. I literally cast this on yesterday, though, last night. I have hardly nothing to show you other than the yarn. But I just really wanted to put on something else on the needles because I knew that the Stowaway, I'm getting to the point where I'm going to need to do color work. And so my idea is always to have like something that's kind of more concentration and something that's more mindless. So this is the Mabel Sweater by Joji Locatelli. Mabel is a character in Only Murders on the Building, played by Selena Gomez, which I've been just loving the series. I watched the first series and then I never did the second or third. And when I knew the fourth season was coming out, or the first season, when I knew the season, not series, sorry, just correcting myself. When I knew season 4 was coming out, I decided to go ahead and binge watch seasons 2 and 3. And then Joji came out with this pattern called Mabel's Sweater. Mabel wears a gold color, like this color gold, maybe a little bit brighter. Yes, definitely brighter gold, like this color gold. This color. Mabel wears a gold sweater made with a textured stitch. That's a raglan crew neck. So that's what Joji designed. It's a waffle stitch. I've just started the neck. I'm in the middle of a row. This is the front right here where I'm just going back and forth. So you can see they're not connected. So I'm doing rows, not rounds yet. She's having us build the front neck. And then when that gets completely built, you start working in the round and doing raglan increases. And my little stitch marker is telling me that's the right side. So literally just cast this on. So fun. What's going to be real fun about this, I think, is that I'm using hand spun. So this is, I'm starting with this mini skein. This is a mini skein that goes through like shades of cream with a pretty like kind of golden cream. And then it's all self-striping hand spun. And then from there, from the cream, it goes to working from the outside in. It goes to like a lime green, to a bluish green, to an olive green, to fuchsia, orange, lime green again, that blue green again, and then blue. Then it goes to a caramel color on the outside, red, blue again, purple, navy, and caramel. So, I mean, I know this is like kind of a weird color combo. Definitely a weird color combo. But this is the way the skein or the bat I bought from Loop Fiber Studio, which she does bullseye bats. This is the bullseye bat that she made. And I had two. One was mostly white, like pale colors, and then I had one that was more vivid in colors. So that that's why you're seeing a marl effect. So the white shades created the marl. So that was a strand that just was pretty much white all the way through, with like white with a yellow tint, white with a blue tint, white with a green tint, like that. So, and they matched up pretty well to the colors that were happening in the other skein, or the other bat, which were all of these other shades of, colors. So I made, took them and made one skein. I spun until it was as big as my bobbin, or as much yarn as my bobbin could hold, stopped, and continued. So this is exactly the way they were laid out, with the gold first. Oh, can I get the gold in there too? This with the cream and gold first or last. It was on the outside, and then going into this and then working outside to in on this one. So I don't know how this is going to work. I have way more yarn than I need though. I have about 1,500 yards, 1,450 maybe yards, and I don't think I need that much. I think I only need about 1,200, but it's always good to have more, right? So I don't know how all the striping is gonna work out. I'm gonna work these two up first, at least, through the sleeve split, and then make some decisions. So I might end up holding some of this for the sleeve and continuing with the body on this or something. I don't know. It's gonna depend on what stripe color I end on. At some point, yeah, I think I'm going to end up like finishing the body with this, because I don't think I want the body to be this and then this is the sleeves. So anyway, fun, right? Fun knit. 2-ply fingering, hand spun that I made during Two Rooted Fleece, so I just did it. And I had those fiber bats in my stash for quite some time. Feels really good to move through stash. Feels really good to have some hand spun done and now making it into a project. Really happy about that. So yeah. I have one more whip to share, and I do not recall where this was at the last time I shared. It should be done, but again, because I was having such a awful few weeks, like that were really draining, and I felt burnt out. I wasn't knitting very much. So I'm making a pair of socks. These, like I said, should have been done. Because I knit a lot while I'm sitting in traffic, where literally like I'm stopped at a full stop, and that happens to me frequently on my commute. So, I normally get a lot, like I'll get like 10 rows done or so, 10 rounds done on the socks. So I'm making, this is one that's finished. This is a size 13 shoe for one of my sons, a little shorty sock. And I'm like 10 rows up the foot here, 10 rows of ribbing up the foot. This is Bear Paw, by the way. I haven't changed the sock pattern I'm making, although I've been really looking at other sock patterns and I've been queuing some. So I may be making different types of socks in the coming year. Thinking about like exploring colorwork socks and seeing if I can figure out what ratio and stuff I need for me to fit my foot. Because if I can fit my foot, then I can fit the other 3 women in my family's feet. My son's partners are all wear the same size shoe as me, so same sock and shoe size. So that's really awesome. It makes gifting to them very easy. So yeah, just working away. I gotta get these done because I need to get moving. I really want to have all the socks done by the end of Thanksgiving. Like, yeah, big time. But I mean, happily, I'm not traveling anywhere this Thanksgiving, so I'll be able to really have a lot of time at home working on projects and stuff like that. So all good. All good. Yeah, because I have, after his, I've got 3 pairs done. There's 6 of them. Plus I'm knitting for my one son's father-in-law. I have, I want to make socks for him. I made socks for him last year and he loved them. And his feet are a little bit smaller than this boy's. So, or this son. So those will take me some time and they need to be full socks, not shorties. So so I have those, I have his, and then 2 of my daughter-in-law's socks. So, and then probably some for Julie, my granddaughter, but her feet are tiny. So I can knit those practically in like a day or 2. I mean, they're big for her, but she's little. She's a 4-year-old. She just turned 4 too, in the midst of all of this disastrous crap. Julie had her birthday, and that was fun. And Julie had Halloween, and she dressed as Wednesday, and she was so cute, so adorable. So little bright spots. Is that all my knitting? That's all my knitting. Yay! Where are we at? Not gonna be too long, I don't think. I have a little bit of spinning to share with you, and then I got some yarn I want to share with you too, because it leads into the sock thing. I've been doing these combo spins. I talk about this. I've been talking about this for a while. So I decided to combo spin my way through my stash because I had a lot of like single braids, and I'm just going to show this to you while I talk. I had a lot of like single braids and, one of a kinds kind of thing that weren't going to be any sort of quantity. Like they would end up making like enough for a hat or enough for 1 pair of socks. And I was looking for a way to kind of put the fleece together to have like larger quantities. So this is my latest combo spin, and this one actually was 2 strands of the same fleece. I had enough for 2 strands, and then 1 strand of a different fleece. And then the different fleece is one that created those neps. Like it had viscose in it, 20% viscose, 80% wool. And it created all of those little, like, you see those little white specks throughout. I know it's kind of blurry. I don't know what the frick camera. Could you focus there? I think you see better there. You see all the white spots. in these two skeins. This one is 100% the same, so you can see the difference. But color-wise, they're pretty close. I will probably not put them together unless this ends up being like trim, like neck trim, cuffs trim, or something like that for a project. That's this. But I think I ended up with about 900 yards, something like that, with all of them together. But yeah, really love it. It's like the color of berries, like a berry pie or something, smashed berries, like a red purple. It's really pretty. The one I'm working on now is also really pretty. I really hope the colors don't muddy up and end up looking sad. Like some of the combo spins I've done, the colors just get so washed out because of the way I'm comboing the colors. So you end up getting kind of more murky colors, which are fine. You know, they end up leaning more neutral, which is whatever. It is what it is. So yeah, that's my spinning. So though I've been sad and not knitting, doing a lot of doom scrolling and just staring at the wall. I do a lot of like staring at the wall apparently when I'm not feeling good, when I'm worried. I have been consistently spinning. So I carved out the morning time as like when I first wake up and get my coffee to sit down and spin, whether it's like 10 minutes or 20 minutes or 40 minutes, 50 minutes, whatever, an hour, whatever I can work in. So if I work from home, I can spin longer than if I have to go to the office. So yeah, I've been moving along. My spinning projects have been moving along. I had a couple mornings this past week because we were in the height of registration and I just couldn't think about other stuff. I just couldn't even sit down to spend. There were a couple days where I just felt really crappy and I just didn't. I skipped it, but I think it's okay. I've been consistently spinning since Tour de Fleece though, like every single morning. So I've been doing a really great job working my way through the fiber that I have. I'm not close enough yet to get rid of one of the bins because I think I've said before I have 3 bins. And one is bigger than the other 2, and my goal has been to get rid of the big bin, and then the other 2 bins can stay, although ideally I want to get it down to 1 bin, the fleece stash down to 1 bin. I did buy fleece too recently, and I have a fleece fiber countdown coming, so that's going to increase my fleece, but not by a lot. It's a 12-day, so it's not a huge amount. So yeah, it's been pretty good, I think, with the spinning, and I should maybe by Tour de Fleece that bin will be gone like 6 months from now at the rate I'm going, because it's taking me about a month to do each combo spin, and I think I have 6 or 7 more sets of combo spins set up, and that will definitely take me through. It'll get me down to like 1 small bin and a half of a small bin if I get through all of those. So we'll see. So like 6, 7, that'll be like July Tour de Fleece. And then I'll be able to spin. Well, I may take a break and just spin something. Like I'll probably take a break when the fleece countdown comes. Maybe that'll be my December spin. I'll just get through what I have now on the wheel for November. We'll see. Anyway, I bought some yarn. It was a charity purchase. Mustache Yarns was doing a fundraiser for the victims of the latest hurricanes that blew through Florida and some of the southern states, North Carolina and stuff. I know there's a lot of people who lost everything, and it's tragic. So I decided to purchase some of her self-striping sock yarn, DK weight, for my socks that I'm constantly knitting, for other people mostly, but also for me sometimes. So I got these 3. This is El Nino Christmas. This is Kama. I think it's just Kama. I thought it was Karma, but it does say Kama. Yep, Kama. And this is Equinox. El Nino Christmas is definitely going to be for me. This I might make for my black loving, meaning black color loving daughter-in-law. I talk about them from time to time. My one son and his wife, they love to wear black. They love dark colors. They look great in them. It suits them. Gray, white, those type of colors, like monochromatic. They're a bit monochromatic, and I thought it would be fun to make her some rainbow socks because people don't usually see socks, and she might wear them around the house anyway, but these may end up being hers, and I just thought this would be a joyful knit, and I need joy right now, so those may be for her. We'll see. But yeah, that was a really nice sale. She was donating the proceeds, or some of the portion of the proceeds, to the hurricane recovery efforts, and I just wanted to support her and get some pretty yarn too. And I think that's all I got for you. Yeah, sorry, I hope I wasn't a bit of a downer. I just wanted to catch you up on what's happening. I just wanted to keep it real and let you know, what's been happening here. I feel like I'm way behind with my knitting, but hopefully I will get inspired. Usually when I record, it really helps me kind of get more energized and excited about my projects, especially when I see them on screen as I'm editing. And then I'm just like, oh yeah, I gotta get through that. So yeah, I hope you're well. I hope everything is going great in your life, or at least you're on the upswing. I don't know, nothing but well wishes for all my viewers. And thank you so much for being here. I really, really deeply appreciate your views and your comments. I love reading your comments, so please feel free to comment below. And I have some clips here at the end of, I went apple picking yesterday with 2 of my boys and their partners. So I have some clips of that adventure. It was fun. I haven't been apple picking since I was probably 20 or 22, something like that. It's been a long, long time. So yeah, anyway, enjoy. I hope you enjoy that, and enjoy your next couple weeks, and I'll check in with you again real soon. Bye.